You're the one they don't trust, but you don't know why. They trust everyone, their friends, strangers, even people who hurt them before. But when it comes to you, they hesitate, they hold back, they keep a quiet distance. Why? You were kind, you were honest, you helped when no one else did. And still, they didn't choose you, they didn't trust you, not fully. And maybe you've noticed that pattern. People talk to you, but they don't really open up. They smile, but there's something missing in their eyes, like they're politely closing a door without making a sound. And maybe, just maybe, you've started asking yourself, what am I doing wrong? Let me pause you here, because what I'm about to show you isn't advice. It's not 5 tips to gain trust or 7 habits to become more likable. This is something deeper, something under the surface, something that's been quietly breaking the connection, even when you meant no harm at all. And no, it's not because you're too shy or awkward or not confident enough. That's the obvious answer, the easy story, the false lead. You see, the truth about trust, it's not what they teach in books. It's not what influencers shout in videos, because sometimes the reason people don't trust you is hidden inside the very thing you thought was good. Let me tell you about something psychologists discovered decades ago, but no one talks about. In the 1960s, an experiment by Stanley Milgram tested how far people would go in obeying authority. That part is famous. What's not famous is what happened after. In the debrief sessions, many participants admitted something strange. They didn't trust the scientists, not because they were cruel or dishonest, but because they were too polite, too perfect, too clean. They sensed something off. Something controlled, something cold, something that didn't feel real. Now pause. Let that sit with you, because maybe you've been doing the same thing. Not faking, not lying, just overthinking, overperforming, oversmoothing your words, trying to be perfectly good instead of genuinely human. You meant well, but sometimes what people feel isn't what you say. It's what you don't say. It's what your silence hides. It's how your energy feels before your words even begin. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something most people never realize about themselves. Not because they're bad, but because no one ever explained it to them. Not like this, not this clearly, not this deeply. Most people think trust is built through honesty. They say, just be real, be open, be good. So you try, you become transparent, you apologize when needed, you listen more than you speak, you show up with kindness, you do everything you believe a trustworthy person should do. But somehow the more good you are, not the more people hesitate. The more you explain yourself, the more they question you. The more you try to reassure, the more uncertain they become. They thank you, but don't confide in you. They smile, but don't stay. They nod, but don't follow. It feels like you're walking through invisible glass, like you're almost being trusted, but never fully let in. And it's frustrating because you're not lying, you're not pretending, you're not manipulating. You're one of the few who actually care. You're careful with your words, considerate with your actions, and intentional with your presence. So why don't they feel safe? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. And this is the part most people never think about. What if the problem isn't that you're not good enough? What if the problem is that you're trying too hard to be good? Trust doesn't come from how perfect you act. It comes from how comfortable people feel when you're near. And there's a difference. There's a difference between being kind and being grounded, between being nice and being felt, between doing good and being true. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been with someone who smiled, but you felt nothing? Like their smile wasn't connected to anything inside? They said the right words, but they didn't land. They gave the right reaction, but you didn't feel met? That's not judgment. That's intuition. That's presence. That's fear in disguise. Sometimes your effort to be good is actually what pushes people away, and people don't trust masks, even kind ones. So let me be clear. You're not the problem. Your intentions aren't wrong, but your energy might be guarded, because what builds trust isn't perfection, it's presence. And in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly what that presence feels like and what blocks it. A moment you never forgot began like this. Think back to a moment when someone looked you in the eyes and then slowly looked away. Let's stop playing around. You've been kind. You've been thoughtful. You've done everything right. And still, people hesitate. They smile, but don't stay. They talk, but don't open up. They say you're nice, but something feels missing. Why? Because trust isn't about your words. It's about your energy. And energy doesn't lie. You're not being rejected because you're not good enough. You're being felt as someone trying too hard to be good. And that energy, that soft, polished, nervous energy, it doesn't make people feel safe. It makes them feel like something's off. Here's the truth no one tells you. People don't trust perfect. They trust present. And presence isn't about performance. It's not about always saying the right thing. It's about stillness, groundedness, being okay, even if you're not liked. So if people don't fully trust you, stop fixing your words. Stop trying to prove your worth. Stop chasing approval. Start listening to the tension in your body. Start noticing when you filter your truth just to be accepted. Start asking, what part of me am I hiding right now? Because the moment you stop running from yourself is the moment people start feeling you. And when they feel you, they trust you. Not because you asked for it, but because you became